All right, guys. Um, so let's get going here with this. First off, in this section, we are going to be, got that. We are going to be working on trigonometry. Yeah, I think I spelled that right. Anyway, so that's what's going down. And so what is that? Well, trigonometry is the math associated with angles of a triangle, more particularly when one of the angles is a right angle, just like in the Pythagorean theorem. So if you have a right triangle, then you can do trigonometry. Okay, let me do a bigger triangle there. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on. Okay. First of all, like I've probably said in the past, the two sides that form the right angle, those are called the legs of the right triangle. So these are the legs, and then this guy is called the hypotenuse, the other side, and the hypotenuse is always the longest. Okay, now, when you are doing trigonometry, you pick an angle, not the 90 degree angle, but one of the other two. Okay, so let's just pick this angle right here. And let's say that this is a 35 degree angle. Okay. And, maybe we know, hey, this happens to, this side here happens to be 5 meters tall. Okay. So the question is, how long is the hypotenuse? I could have asked about this side, but I had to pick one. How long is that hypotenuse? Well, based on what we've seen in the past, we definitely do not have enough information, but that's okay because we have trigonometry, or at least we're about to. Okay. Now, there's a mnemonic for it called SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Okay. And that is just a mnemonic for helping you to remember the various formulas. Okay. So here's what they are. Sine of an angle. I'm going to explain what this all means. This symbol here, that's just a variable that represents an angle, like maybe 35 degrees or something. Sine of an angle equals the opposite side. I should put the word side. Divided by the hypotenuse. Oh, look at that. SOH. S for sine, O for opposite, H for hypotenuse. Okay. Well, what about ka? Okay. Well, the C stands for cosine, another trigonometric function. So cosine of some angle equals A, the adjacent side, divided by H, the hypotenuse. Okay. And the last one, TOA. T stands for tangent, the last trigonometric function that we will be talking about. There are others, but we're only we're just doing trigonometry for one day, one lesson. We're going to hit all the basics of it, to be honest, but certainly not all that we could. Okay. And once again, the O and the A, they represent opposite and adjacent sides, respectively. So those are the formulas that we will be using. How do you keep this all straight? You remember SOHCAHTOA. And that's what teachers have been teaching students for decades. That's how I learned it. That's how you're going to learn it, unless you know a different way that works for you, and then that's fine. Okay. So what are we going to do here? Well, first of all, we know what hypotenuse means. Okay, we know what that means. But what about opposite side and adjacent side? Well, when you're doing trigonometry, you decide which angle you're talking about, and then everything is relative to that angle. Well, and when I say everything, I mean the opposite and the adjacent. The hypotenuse, that doesn't matter if you choose this angle or that one. So the side that is the opposite side is the one that is relative to the angle you're interested in, is on the opposite side of the triangle. So in this case, 5 meters, that's going to be our opposite. Now adjacent is going to be the only side left, which will be this one right here. Adjacent, well, yeah. If two things are adjacent, it means they're right up against each other. And let's be honest, this side right here, it's right up against that angle, whereas this side is not. Okay. So that's how you determine what's opposite and what's adjacent. So in this problem, we'd say, well, relative to this angle, we know the opposite side. So we're going to be either working with TOA or sine, tangent or sine. We know the opposite relative to this angle, but we are looking for the hypotenuse. Oh, okay. So we want something that involves opposite side and hypotenuse. That would be our sine function. So we're going to use this formula right here. Okay. That's kind of, yeah, the idea. So let's try that out on the calculator. Okay. And hang on. All right. So we're on the calculator because doing this by hand is royal. It's a royal pain. And we're definitely not going to go that direction. Okay. So we need to do the sine function. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I don't need the calculator yet. I need to write some stuff down. So the sine function says that that sine and then of the angle, that symbol always means angle. You always plug angles into these. So sine of 35 degrees is equal to the length of the opposite side, which is 5, divided by the length of the hypotenuse, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so we want to solve for this guy here. So what is that on my screen? Okay, there we go. And then, so we'll multiply both sides by the denominator like we always do. Okay, so we've got whatever it is we're looking for times sine of 35 is 5. And now we can divide by sine of 35 degrees. Okay. And then that, so those guys cancel. And now we'll go to the calculator to get this guy. Okay, so now it really is calculator time. And so I'm going to go 5. I know it's hard to read. Sorry about that. 5 divided by, and then you'll notice, well, if I do some erasing, you'll notice it. Get rid of all this stuff. Make it easier for you to see what the heck is going on. Final. Get rid of that too. All right. So you'll notice that we have sine, cosine, and tangent right there. So I'll say sine of 35 degrees. And that gives us negative 11.7 for our answer. But we were looking for the length of a side. That shouldn't be negative. That's weird. Here's the problem. If I go to mode, I notice, oh, my calculator's measuring angles in radians, not degrees. We're never going to use radians in this class. So just go make sure it's in degrees and then just leave it there. Okay. So I'm going to go back up with the up arrow, enter key. And okay, now that makes more sense. First of all, I got a positive answer. Secondly, I'm looking for the hypotenuse, so it should be bigger than the 5 meters, which it is. So we'll just say 8.7 meters. All right. Now I shouldn't have to put it back in degree mode again. It should just stay there. So that's a wonderful thing. All right, let's do a little bit more of this, and then we'll call it a day or something. Okay, how about we are looking for, let's see, it's a right triangle. we've got this 40-degree angle here. And I know that this is 10 feet for the hypotenuse. And I'm looking for this side here. All right. So, okay, so let me type this thing out again. All right, so SOHCAHTOA, that's my guy. And so relative to this angle, I know the hypotenuse. So I'm looking for something involving hypotenuse, one of those two, because tangent doesn't involve hypotenuse. It's just opposite and adjacent. Okay, and the side that I'm looking for is, well, it's not opposite the angle. It's the adjacent side. So this is my guy right here. That involves the two sides I'm interested in. So I'm going to go cosine of the angle equals adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. Okay, so on this one, all I got to do is multiply by 10, and the variable is isolated. So that's pretty cool. That happens about half the time. So, you know, it's groovy. Okay. Okay, so now we gotta, okay, so we already know that the answer better be positive, and it should be less than 10, because 10 is the longest side, it's the hypotenuse. Okay, so now we can go to our calculator, and we'll do 10 times cosine of 40 degrees, and we get 7.6 feet. And I'm not going to worry about the feet and inches and 16ths of an inch. This is fine for now. Okay, so I get 7.6 feet, and that feels amazing. Okay, let's do another one. How about I've got this, and I've got this 29-degree angle here, and I've got 5 centimeters and 9 centimeters. Wait, no, I gotta be looking for something. Okay, and I'm looking for that side right there. So what do? Well, let's type this back in. I know I keep typing it, and I feel like it's amateur hour. Oh well. Okay, so hey, the two sides I'm interested in relative to this angle are the opposite side and the adjacent side. Okay, I know it's opposite and adjacent because I'm not interested in the hypotenuse. So opposite and adjacent, that's going to be tangent, just like you guessed. So tangent of the angle is equal to opposite over adjacent. So I multiply by the denominator, those cancel, and now I'm ready to go to my calculator and say 5 times tangent of 29 is going to be only 2.7 centimeters, or 2.8 centimeters. 2.8 centimeters, that's our guy. And that's basically how you do this stuff, okay?